Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cable stitch beanie here. It has 8 cables there that run through it. If you look closely. And the brim, it's a top down beanie, and then a couple rows of single crochet down here on the brim. So it is an advanced intermediate pattern. Probably have to have a little bit of knowledge of, cables probably. If not, you give it a try, because you could still probably do it as long as you keep trying. So this is gender neutral, and it should fit approximately 19 to 22 inch head, and it's about 8 inches long. If you want to make it bigger, I would suggest going up 1 hook size. So the hook size that I use for this hat is an I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. If you want to make it bigger, I would do a J. Alright, for this project I use Spray by Haiku. I got this in a mystery box actually. It is 55% superwash merino, 28 acrylic, and 17 nylon. Now it is a medium weight number 4. You do not have to use this yarn. You can use any 4-weight yarn that you want. The color that I use is vintage. And there are 256 meters or 280 yards. You're probably going to need about 250 yards to finish this beanie, because cables tend to be yarn eaters, but they sure are worth it. So remember, you don't have to use this. Any 4-weight will be fine. Let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, I put this piece of cardboard down since I am using a lighter colored yarn, and my table is white, so you could see it better. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to work a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use the magic circle here if you prefer, but I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Just like that. Now I'm going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. Now I'm going to work 12 double crochets through the center of the ring. So I'm going to yarn over and go through, drop a loop, and do my double crochet, just like normal. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we want to continue around until we get a total of 12. Alright, so I got my total of 12 double crochets. I'm going to go ahead and end round 1 by slip stitching into our first double crochet here. Just like that. Now we're going to start round 2 by chaining 1, and that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So what we're going to do for round 2 is we are going to go into this very first stitch that we slip stitched into, and we're going to work a double crochet. Now around the post of that very first stitch right here, we are going to work a front post double crochet around the same stitch. We double crocheted into the top of it, and now we're going to be working into the post of it, or around the post of it. We're going to do a front post double crochet, just like that. So what you did was 2 stitches there into 1. All right, and that's what we're going to do all the way around. So we're going to go to the next stitch, which is right here, and we are going to work a double crochet into the top of it, and then around the post of the same stitch we're going to work a front post double crochet. Again, we're going to move to the next stitch here, and we're going to work a double crochet into the top of it, and then around the post of the same stitch we're going to work a front post double crochet. So like I said, what you're doing is you are putting 2 stitches into each stitch, a regular double crochet and a front post double crochet. And we're going to do this all the way around. So double crochet into the top of the next stitch and front post double crochet around the post of that same stitch. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I make it back to my starting point. Alright, when you make it back around to the end of round 2, you should have a total of 24 stitches all together. And we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our very first double crochet here. And now we're going to start round 3. So what we're going to do for round 3 is we're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to go back into this very first stitch here that we just slip stitched into and put a double crochet. Like that. Now we're going to go over to the next stitch. And if you see, you can see that it's a post stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to work a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of it. So we put 2 stitches into that one stitch. And that's going to be the repeat for round 3. So the next stitch right here, we're just going to put 1 double crochet into the top of it. And then the next stitch, which is right here, you can see that it's a post stitch. We're going to put a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of the same stitch. Like that. And we repeat it again. Double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And then the next stitch, we are going to put a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of the same stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back around to my starting point. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 3. And your last stitch should have been where you put a double crochet and a front post double crochet into the last stitch. You should have 36 stitches total. And now we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Let's go ahead and begin round 4. Alright, so we're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to go back into this very first stitch here that we just slip stitched into, and we're going to work 1 double crochet. And then the next stitch right here, if you look at it, it's a double crochet from the previous row. We are going to do a front post, just 1 front post double crochet around the post of it, like that. And then the next stitch is where is a front post double crochet, you can see it. And in this stitch, we are going to work a regular double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of it, just like that. So that will be our repeat for round 4. Let's do it again. So we're going to put a regular double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then we're going to put a front post double crochet into the next. You can see it's just a regular double crochet from the previous row, just front post double crochet around it. And then the next stitch we are going to put, you can see it's a front post double crochet from the previous row. We're going to put a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of the same stitch, just like that. Let's repeat that again. So we're going to do a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and then the next stitch is going to be a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around until I get to the end of round 4. All right, so I come to the end of round 4, and again I should have ended where I put a double crochet in top of the stitch and the front post double crochet as well. You should have a total of 48 stitches now, and we are going to end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and then we'll begin round 5. So we're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to go right back into this very first stitch here that we just slip stitched into, and we're going to do a double crochet into that stitch. And then the next stitch you can see is a front post double crochet from the previous row. We're going to put a front post double crochet around that stitch. And then the next stitch right here, we're going to put a double crochet into the top of this double crochet here. And then the next stitch you can see is a post stitch from the previous row, and this stitch is where we're going to put a double crochet into the top of it, as well as a front post double crochet around the post of it. And that will be the repeat for round 5. So let's do it again. We are going to do a double crochet into the next stitch, front post double crochet in the next. Sometimes you have to pull your stitches apart to find the stitches that get hidden. Double crochet into the next stitch, and in the next one double crochet into the top of it and front post double crochet around the post of it. And we're going to repeat that again. Double crochet into the next stitch, and front post double crochet in the next. Oh, sorry about that. Front post double crochet, double crochet into the next. Sometimes it hides, make sure you get that one. And then the next stitch is a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of it. So this is what we are going to repeat all the way around for row 5. So one more time. Double crochet into the next stitch, front post double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next, and that one always hides. And then the next one is going to be a double crochet into the top of the stitch and a front post double crochet around the post of the stitch. So I'm going to continue this all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you here at the end of round 5. All right, so I've made it to the end of round 5, and again you should have ended where you did a double crochet and a front post double crochet into the last stitch. 60 stitches now, and you want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet. Now if your work is flipping up, that is fine. It wouldn't be right if it didn't. This is just kind of what post stitches do. Don't worry though, we're going to fix that here in a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and start round 6 now, okay? So we're going to chain 1, which doesn't count as a stitch, and we're going to go right back into the same stitch and double crochet. And then we will work a front post double crochet around the next stitch, a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, a front post double crochet around the next stitch. Sometimes this one's kind of hard to see. And then the next stitch is where we will, you can see it's a post stitch from the previous row. We will put a double crochet into the top of it, as well as a front post double crochet around the post of it, just like that. And that is what we're going to repeat for round 6. So again, let's go ahead and do it again. We're going to double crochet into the next stitch, and then we are going to front post double crochet into the next, double crochet into the top of the next, front post double crochet into the next. This one's the hard one to see. And then the next stitch, we are going to work a double crochet into the top of it and a front post double crochet around the post of the same stitch. Okay, let's repeat it again. Double crochet into the next stitch, front post double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next stitch, and front post double into the next. This is the hardest one to see. There it is. And then the next stitch you can see is the post stitch, a post stitch from the previous row, double crochet into the top of it, and front post double around the post of it. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around until I make it to the end of round 6. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 6, and again you should end it with a double crochet in the last stitch and a front post double crochet, and you should have a total of 72 stitches now. And we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Now this is the crown of our hat. Let's go ahead and take a quick measure of it here. Now I'll go ahead and kind of flatten out the posts because they're going to be flipping up on you. That's okay. We'll take care of them. Now I'm going to shoot from anywhere between 6 and 6.5 inches for the crown of this hat particularly. And I got 6.5, which is perfect for me. Okay, that's what you want, either anywhere in between 6 and 6.5 inches for this particular hat. And if you look closely now at your work, you'll notice that you have a post stitch and a double crochet, a post, a double, a post, a double, a post, a double, and that's kind of what it is right now. So there's going to be no more increasing at this time. So we're going to go ahead and start round 7, and we are going to chain 1. And what we're going to do is work a double crochet into the very first stitch, and then the next stitch we're going to work a front post double crochet. So we're going to keep the post lined up on this round, and then we're going to repeat that double crochet into the next stitch and front post double into the next, double crochet into the next, and front post double into the next, double into the next, and front post double into the next. So we're going to repeat this pattern, double crochet, front post double crochet, repeat all the way around until we make it to the end of round 7. All right, so I have made it to the end of round 7. You can see my work still flipped up. That's fine. Should have 72 stitches still. All right, we should have 72 stitches for the time being for the remainder of the hat. So we're going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into our first double crochet here. You should end it with a front post double crochet, just like that. Now we're going to start round 8. All right, so we're going to start round 8. Rounds 8 and 9 are going to be the repeat rounds for the rest of the hat until we get down to where we're going to do the brim. Now this is where we're going to do the cables. So we're going to have the cables for this particular pattern are going to be worked over 6 stitches, and they're going to have 3 stitches in between them. And we will, if I counted correctly, which I hope that I did, we will have a total of 8 cables. All right, so why don't we go ahead and begin. Okay, we're going to start off with a chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to go back into this very first stitch and double crochet. Now the beginning is going to be a little bit different than the rest of them. Now sometimes when you do cables, there is gaps in between. Actually, every time you do cables, pretty much in crochet, every time there's a crossover of a cable, there's going to be gaps beside the crossovers. We're going to eliminate those, okay? And I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So when I say that there's 3 stitches in between each cable, we have to use part of the cable as one of the stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a double crochet 2 together in the next 2 stitches. So we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch and draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch. Now this is actually part of the cable, and draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2. You got 3 loops that remain, yarn over and go through those 3 loops. So in all actuality, right now you only have 2 stitches because you crocheted these 2 together. Now we're going to make a cable. This stitch that we went into we did a double crochet 2 together in, we're going to use that as part of the cable. All right, so this up here, we're going to pretend like it's not even there. That's what's going to hide the gap of the crossover. So we're still going to count this as a cable. So we're going to do front post triple crochet. We're going to skip 3 stitches. So remember, we're counting this stitch here as a stitch, even though we worked into it. 1, 2, 3 we skip. In the next one, we are going to front post triple crochet into that stitch. Like that. And then we're going to do a front post triple crochet into the next 2 stitches. So yarn over twice like a triple crochet, go around the post of the stitch and front post triple, and then again into the next stitch a front post triple crochet. Now we're going to do our crossover of our cable. So we are going to do a front post triple crochet in the 3 stitches that we skipped, starting with the first one. Now remember, always remember, even though we worked into this stitch, it counts as the first stitch of the cable, okay? So we're going to yarn over twice and go around that post of that first stitch that we skipped and do a front post triple crochet. So there's 1, and then we're going to front post triple crochet around the second stitch that we skipped. Sometimes you have to dig around to find them, but there he is. Front post triple crochet around that stitch, and then a front post triple crochet around the last one that we skipped, and there he is hiding. Dig around, you'll find him, just like that. So that is the first part of the cable. I always kind of put my thumb in there and kind of straighten out the cables like that. Now we are going to hide the gap. As you can see, that hid the gap. That was going to, there would have been a gap there had we not done that double crochet 2 together. We got to hide it on this side as well. So we are going to do a double crochet 2 together, and we're going to start by working into the top of this last stitch of this cable here. So if you flip it over, you'll see it right there. It was already worked. It's the last stitch of the cable, but we're going to go through it again. So we're going to yarn over and go into the top of it. You won't be able to see it because it's going to be behind the cable. And draw up a loop and yarn over and go through the first 2 stitches. And then we're going to go into the next stitch and the double crochet after the cable, go into it, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and you got 3 loops that remain, yarn over and go through the remaining 3 stitches. So that helps, it helps to hide the gap of the crossover. All right, and now we're going to do a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and we're just going to repeat kind of what we did there. And now we have to do the double crochet 2 together to start our next cable. All right, so we're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, drop a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2. Then we're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, which is actually the first stitch of our cable, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and yarn over and go through the remaining 3. So if you look, you do have 3 stitches between the cables. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to do so start, and we're going to do another cable the same way that we just did that one. All right, and now we're going to skip 3. Now remember, even though we worked in this one, it still counts as the first stitch of our cable. So we're going to do a front post triple crochet. We're going to skip 3 and do a front post, a triple crochet in the next. So skip, 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 front post triple into the next. Try to make these as tight as possible, and then a front post triple into the next. And a front post triple into the next. So there we have 3 front post triple crochets in a row. Now we got to back it up, and we got to work into the 3 that we skipped, which are right here. Remember, we worked in this one, but he still counts as the first stitch of our cable. So we're going to front post triple crochet into him first. And then we're going to look around. We're going to find the next one that we skipped, which is right here. Front post triple crochet around him. And the last one that we skipped, there he is. Front post triple crochet around him. And then I always take my thumb, go kind of through there and kind of wiggle around to get those cables loosened up. All right, so now we have to get rid of the gap that would be on this side by doing a double crochet 2 together, by working into the last stitch of the cable and then the next stitch after the cable. So we're going to yarn over, and you find the last stitch of the cable, which is right here, so right behind it and to the top of it. Yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and then yarn over and go into the next stitch right after the cable. Drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the remaining 3 loops on your hook, and that just helps to close that gap a bit. Like I said, it's not going to close it perfectly, but it does help close it a bit. All right, and we're just going to keep repeating this. So one more time, the next stitch just gets a regular double crochet, and then we need to work a double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Okay, and now we're going to work our cable, which the first stitch of the cable is right here where we just put the double crochet 2 together in. All right, so we're going to skip 3, count that one that you put that double crochet in right there. So 1, 2, 3, front post triple crochet around the next one. All right, front post triple crochet around the next, and front post triple crochet around the next. So that was 3 front post triple crochets there in a row. And then again, we got to back it up and work front post triple crochets into the 3 that we skipped, starting with our first one, which is the one that we worked that double crochet 2 together in. So front post triple crochet around that one first, and then front post triple around the next one that we skipped. And front post triple crochet around the last one that we skipped. That, use my thumb, straighten out them cables a bit. Now we're going to do our double crochet 2 together. Try to hide any gaps, working in the last stitch of this cable. That's in the back there, right there. Go into it, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and then go into the next stitch after the cable, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and yarn over and go through the remaining 3, and then double crochet into the next. Now we're just going to keep repeating this pattern all the way around. And again, we would start with the double crochet 2 together, and that, and then we start our cable. Remember, this is the first stitch of our cable, even though we worked into the top of it. So we would need to skip 3. This would be the first one that we skip. 1, 2, 3, and front post triple crochet into the next, and front post triple crochet into the next, and front post triple crochet into the next. So that was 3 front post triple crochets in a row. Now we need to back it up and front post triple crochet into the 3 that we skipped, starting with this first one that we did already work in. Front post triple crochet around that one, and then the next one that we skipped, and then the last one that we skipped, just like that. Straighten these up with my thumb a bit, and then we do a double crochet 2 together, starting by working into the top of our last cable that we did. So right here, you flip it, you'll see that stitch back there. Yarn over and go into it, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and then yarn over and go into the next stitch after the last stitch of the cable, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the remaining 3, and then double crochet into the next. And we will repeat again by starting out with a double crochet 2 together, then we do our cable, in with a double crochet 2 together, and then a double crochet, start again with a double crochet 2 together, our cable. So we're just repeating what we've been doing. It's okay if everything is all flipping and looking wonky and flipping. It's looking wonky, it's flipping everywhere. In the end, we can only hope that it turns out. All right, I'm going to repeat this around. I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. All right, so I'm coming to the end of row 8. Now I promise you that that is the hardest row of the whole pattern, and every time you have to repeat it. But the more you repeat it, the easier it will become. So I just did my last cable here, and if you look, I have 1 stitch left, but I need to do my double crochet 2 together using that stitch and the last stitch of the last cable. So I'm going into the last stitch of the last cable, right behind it, and doing my double crochet 2 together with that one and the last stitch of the row. And now I'm going to end by slip stitching into my first double crochet. Now you still should have 72 stitches, and you'll have the start of 8 cables with 3 stitches in between them. All right, so let's go ahead and work round 9. It's easier than round 8. We won't be crossing cables this time. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and chain 1. So we're starting round 9. This is the last row repeat of the row of the repeat. Go back into that same stitch and double crochet. Now we don't have to do any double crochet 2 togethers on this particular part of the cable, so we can just go into the next stitch. As you can see, it's a double crochet 2 together. Just go into the top of it and double crochet, and now we're at our cable. So we're going to be working front post triple crochets, but we're going to be working them differently. So I always stick my kind of like my thumb or my finger in between the cables. So you can see there's 3 on the front and there are 3 on the back. We want to work a front post triple crochet and a 3 on the back first and then the 3 on the front. So it kind of goes in a row. It starts with this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, all front post triple crochets. So yarn over twice and front post triple crochet into the first one there that's kind of set in the back, and front post triple crochet. They do get a little tangled, but you can find them if you look right here, these 2 in the back. Front post triple crochet around the next one back there, and then front post triple crochet around the last one that's back there. See them right there? You just got to dig around. Don't give up. You just keep trying. Even I have a hard time finding them cables that are hidden sometimes, but you just got to keep trying. Now we're going to front post triple into the ones that are right here in the front, starting with this first one. Front post triple. The next one, front post triple, and the last one, front post triple. And that is that part of the cable. That's it. Now we're going to work a double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's double crochet 2 together. We just put a double crochet into that, double crochet into the next, and then double crochet into the next, which is a front post, which is a double crochet 2 together, like that. And then we repeat. So we do the cables again, front post triple crochets, working in the 3 in the back first, and then the 3 that's set in the front next. Here we go. Front post triple crochet. If it's easier, you can kind of take these, separate them like that, and there you go. You got your back 3 like that. Maybe that would be a little easier. And front post triple crochet in that first one, and then the next one. Oops. And then the last one that's set in the back there. He's the hardest, but he's not even that hard. There we go. Now we're going to work these 3 in the front post triple crochet in each of these, starting with the first one. Just like that, and now you have finished another cable. They'll start to look more like cables the more rows that you do. And we're just going to repeat that again. So we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, and there's 3. And then we're at our cable. So front post triple crochet in all these stitches, starting with the 3 in the back first, and then the 3 in the front the next. So I'm going to go ahead and separate them there so we can see what we're doing. These 3 right here. Front post triple in that first one, And then the next one, cables just get all tangled up, don't they? That's okay. Once they get untangled, they really are pretty. And that last one that's in the back. And then we're going to go ahead and work these 3 up front. 1 up front, post triple crochet in each of those. Just like that. And then we just, there's you finished another cable. Double crochet into the next 3. Like that. And repeat. So we're just going to repeat this, what we're doing, all the way around until we get back here to the last cable here. And that's where I'll meet back up with you. Alright, so I'm finishing out row 9, and I did this last cable here, and you have 1 stitch that remains. Go ahead and double crochet into the last stitch and in with a slip stitch into your first double crochet. So now all it is a repeat of rows 8 and 9. So when you repeat row 8, that is where the cables cross over. Remember that? So I'll just briefly show you here. You chain 1, so we're just repeating row 8 now for row 10, and double crochet back into that first stitch, and this is where we have to do the double crochet 2 togethers. So starting with the next double crochet in the first stitch of the cable. You'll be able to see the cables a lot better now after you better than you did on row 8, like that. And now you see, now we have to do the cross cable. So you would skip 3, counting this one that we went into, 1, 2, 3, and right here you can see the 3 that you'll need to go into. So you will front post triple crochet in those 3, remember, I'm just repeating row 8. It is a bit easier to see your stitches now. And then you want to back it up and front post triple into 3 that you skipped, counting this first one that we did do our double crochet 2 together in. And then the next one that we skipped. And then the last one here that we skipped. Fix that cable a bit. Cables always need a good fixing. And then we do a double crochet 2 together, connecting the last stitch of this cable with the first stitch after it. So right behind it, we do the double crochet 2 together. And double crochet into the next stitch. And then double crochet 2 together. This one in the first stitch of the cable, and start again. So you would repeat that. Alright, you want to repeat rounds 8 and 9 until you get a total of 16 rounds. And that is 16 total, starting from way up here, all the way down, 16. So you should end on a cable crossover row. Now, if you want to make it longer like a slouchy, you could add, a few more rows, that's fine. But however long you make it, just make sure whenever you decide to end that you end on a crossover cable. And now I'm going to do some single crochet here at the bottom. So I just ended in a slip stitch there. So I'm going to chain 1, and for row 17, I'm going to go back in that same stitch and single crochet. I'm not doing any more cables or any more crossovers. I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in every single stitch. even across the cable here. I'm just putting one in each stitch of the cable. Just like that. So I just went over that cable there with single crochet. So I'm going to continue around working 1 single crochet in every stitch until I make it back to my starting point. Alright, so I went around with a row of single crochet and I ended with a slip stitch into my first single crochet, and I had 72 stitches, and then I just went ahead and went around again with another round of single crochet. So I got 2 rounds of single crochet down here. You can do more if you want, that's completely up to you, but now all I'm going to do is tie off and hide any remaining tails that I have, and that's it. That's all there is to it. That's a nice beanie. It's nice and warm. I love the cables. So remember, if you make this or anything else, don't forget to post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page, or tag me on Instagram. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and leave me a comment below, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.